Let's talk about DekaFit. Let's start with, do you think that no race should ever compete with another race, and there should only be one company ever allowed into the space of something?
My answer to that is there's plenty of room. Any method of fitness that, and I think, we're taking a little different approach. I know the High Rocks conversation is going to come up. We're taking a different approach, and we want to create an opportunity for, if you and I pulled 1,000 people off the street or out of any brick and mortar gym, I want about 95+% of them in the same arena and on the same day. They deserve to go in and get a mark. They deserve that score, that mark in that same arena as the rest, the Ryan Kents or the Hunter McIntyres going head and toe, throwing down against on the same day with each other. I wanted something, and we wanted something at Spartan that you're going to leave there with a mark, and if you consistently get your butt in the gym and start training in these basic movement patterns, your mark's going to improve. You're going to move the needle.
So let me talk to you. I was fortunate enough to be side by side with you up there at TMX, and we talked about how much we loved that. We loved watching the CrossFitters and the OCR guys go toe to toe, and who's got the bigger engine and who can handle it and all that fun stuff. So what do you think? Why this instead of another one of that, other than the obvious, like it's cheaper, I guess?
So a couple things with that. There's
indoor versus outdoor, basically.
Every single event we put on will be a short Uber ride, a walk, or a bicycle ride, 70 degrees, climate controlled, no weather, very little stumbling blocks, very few reasons to say no to this. So very accessible to the urban masses across the United States first, and then the globe. And yes, we have millions of people doing Spartan race across the world, but there's still the 99% of the people walking the planet may not be into barbed wire, mud, and the mountains right now. So in some cases, I think it could be an entry level. But I can tell you, I don't want to put words in Joe's mouth, but I can tell you right now that any avenue, that man wants to leave a legacy. And any avenue he has that will help pull people off the couch, that's exactly what we all want to leave a legacy. And he's in the middle of doing that. And, I did an interview earlier today, and I said, we talk so much about the Greeks in fitness because they were freaking innovators. They changed the game. The Greeks changed the game. And we want to do the same thing. 2,000 years from now, will people look back and say they changed the game? Well, the Greeks deserve that. Every time the Greeks come up and fit in this side of fitness, they deserve that. We want to do the same thing. And there's definitely room. And there's so many movements out. There's, you take Spartan, CrossFit, F45, Orange Theory, and 15 others. Spartan's arguably created one of, if not the largest fitness movement the world's ever seen. And there's tons of other groups doing the same thing. They're changing the game. What we are able to do with DekaFit is we are able to walk into any of those organizations and say, hey, you guys are doing a bang up, awesome job getting millions of people fit. We got a great opportunity for you to test all of your people. You're doing great functional fitness. They can come and compete in the DekaFit, and they're going to leave there with a mark. It's their decathlon for the masses, not just the 1%ers.
So let's talk specifics.
Yeah.
The workout is 10 workouts. It's never going to change. Will the order change? Will the workouts differ?
The DekaFit, the Deka zones are designed to be, and we spend a lot of time on this. They're designed not to change. You can always put on exhibition events. You can always do things, to throw a curveball. There's all kinds of things we could look at doing, but the design of those 10 movements was, and I'll give you a quick backstory. When you look at ancient times, Greek times before that, ancient history, everything we did, it was not looked at as fitness. We did it to survive, to get food, to build shelter for our families, to get ourselves out of the elements. It was raw survival. We squatted down, we lifted things, we moved heavy things, we pushed things, we pulled things, we climbed over things. basic movement patterns. Fast forward to 2020, most of those movement standards are not movement patterns are not required for survival or for you and I to get food anymore. They've turned into the basics of fitness. We use these movements to test fitness. Now, what we wanted to do was, I've always said some of the greatest athletes on the planet are, I think, like Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, just good, well-rounded functional fitness. Well, if they stepped into a CrossFit box, they're guaranteed to get dead last. In the CrossFit games, they're going to get dead last. Most, if we throw a tennis racket in their hands, they're going to get dead last. Anything we test them with in modern day sports and testing, they're probably going to get dead last, if not last. With this, they are immediately relevant. And if they bring their mom and their dad with them, they're going to be relevant as well. That we all get to do the same test on the same day in the same arena. Because remember what I said about those ancient movement patterns. We're bringing those in and saying, hey, the moment you see DekaFit, if you're walking past a convention center in downtown Dallas, you're like, hey, what's this DekaFit thing? I'm going to walk in, I'm going to throw down my backpack. Like, I'm going to sign up and do this. Can I do this right now? If I get you in that workout zone, that starting corral, 5 minutes later, after seeing the concept on a piece of vinyl, like, oh, here's the 10 stations, you will know how to get through and get your DekaFit score. You will be able to work yourself through that after walking in that convention center floor 5 minutes later.
So when you say score, is it a time or a score?
It is I like calling it a mark. Your time is your score. And you're going to be able to come back and do it 6 months from now or a year from now and compare that to your old mark.
So the 10 workouts, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know you were very upset. I put up the wrong picture. You were very upset about it. I had 20 things going on.
That's all right, brother.
But what even, I was trying to look even this morning because I can't delete that picture out of the one post I put up.
Sure.
I'll get it right when we launch this and we launch the article. What even was the difference? Was it the order? Was it something really messed up?
No, I went in with marketing. We put some more creative inside those boxes to give you a little better mental picture. And we cleaned up some of the rep counts. And you'll see in like zone 1, Deka zone 1 and Deka zone 10, you'll see that there's substations. Like a Deka zone 1 is RAM squats. So there's 6 substations. So kind of CrossFit style, you'll grab your RAM, you'll do 5 reps and you'll move to zone 2. So you can see the progression of the athlete as they go through. Once you finish your 5th rep in zone 6, you will have finished 30 reps. You put your RAM down, you run back out and get on your next 500-meter run. Zone 10, there's 20 Spartan RAM burpees. There's 4 subzones. You'll do 5, 5, 5, and 5.
Why?
And then you're it's when you get the elites in there, especially, it's fun, and you're doing a high rep count. TMX did it. CrossFit's done it. It's a brilliant concept. You're able to see, like, let's say Hunter's going side by side with Isaiah, and, Hunter got in there 23 seconds ahead of him. If they're doing 30 reps of something, say burpees or whatever, you can't quite tell. Well, now the spectator gets to see that, oh, Hunter just moved into zone 3. Isaiah is still in zone 2. You can see that progression of the athlete. And it also, you're actually having to carry the weight through the station. So you're doing reps and you're actually carrying the weight through the station. So
but if Isaiah catches Hunter, isn't he going to run into him?
No. That picture a rectangle or a square the size of, your kitchen and living room, maybe double, or your backyard. And there's 6 or 4 substations in that section. So each substation could accommodate 4, 5, 6 athletes at the exact same time. Make sense?
What is your title here? What is your role here with Spartan on this?
DekaFit program manager.
Okay. And who else is putting this together? Is this the stadium team? Like who's putting it together?
So I'll say, getting to know the Spartan team at headquarters, they're a bunch of freaking rock stars. As you know, telling Joe no, and Joe raises the bar for everybody. And that I've had the opportunity over the years to meet every single one of those departments. They are freaking #badasses. But I asked Joe if I could bring on a business associate, business partner of mine, Jared Cogswell, We've been working together for a while. He's a freaking rock star in the fitness world. He's just a high energy guy. I knew he'd do well with Joe. So first thing we did was bring Jared Cogswell on board. You can look him up on LinkedIn. He's a freaking rock star. He fits into the hashtag badass category with all the rest of the Spartan HQ people. Jared and Erica Walker and I, Ewok, are kind of the three people really spearheading a lot of the movement while we lean on every single piece of Spartan. And there's going to end up being like anything else, it takes a lot of people to move the needle and get things rolling. And without going into great detail on all the names, just know that a lot of awesome people that, it wasn't too long ago, it was a simple little concept and just Joe. And now it's 500 plus people. Like I think you said in your interview, or one interview I just heard him have, it's 500 plus people all doing tiny little things, doing a lot of good stuff day after day after day. And it turns into excellence. Arete, Greek word for excellence. That's in our little mission statement. Arete, the Greeks believe that taking care of the mind and the body over time created excellence. And if you're excellent, it helps you, it helps your family, it helps your tribe, it helps your community. That's what we want to do, man.
Love it, dude. Love it. Talk to me about what's a tank. Is it the same thing as a sled, or is it some Spartan specific thing? It says tank sled or tank pull / push.
So for everybody listening to this, jump on Google and just Google search tank torque Mark IV. Tank torque Mark IV. Torque is the actual name of their business, but it's a brilliant design they came up with that allows you to do sled pushing and sled pulling with magnetic resistance, and it's on tires, so you can be on concrete floors or wood floors and you don't tear shit up. So it's magnetic resistance, 3 different resistance zones, 1, 2, and 3, which will work in really well for elite men, elite women, and open categories. So you can easily just select more or less magnetic resistance. So that station will be a 10-meter sled push, and then there will be about a 10, 11-foot meter battling rope. So you run back to your start line and you row the tank back to you until it gets back to the start line. And you'll do that 5 times for a total of 50 meters of sled pushing, 50 meters of sled pulling. But you're just accomplishing that sled push and sled pull in one DECA zone.
All right, I'm looking at this tank M2.
The M4 is the one you want to find. The M2 is their original rollout.
Okay, I'm looking at the M4, and it looks pretty dope. I can buy one right here in this website. My one question for you, I'm so glad we're discussing this. There's some kind of electronic component here on the top left. That's what creates the torque. Is anything electronic? I feel like, well, now we could have some issues. It could be, It could fail. It could misfire.
The tanks we will be using will have nothing electronic that measures distance or measures resistance. 100% of the resistance is a variable magnetic resistance on the. I've worked with them extensively with the U.S. Army, and they're bulletproof, man. I mean, I've had them out with huge Army teams where we're taking them through hours and hours of abuse, and they stand the test of time. So,
other than the weight, explain to me how it works. I'm very confused.
So let's say you have a neutral. Let's say you and I are pushing it across the convention center floor. Well, there's no resistance in neutral. We crank it up to 1. There's a preset value of magnetic resistance on 1. The moment we go to 2, it becomes harder to push. The moment we go to 3, it becomes even harder to push.
Because it's pushing against you?
It's the magnetic resistance built inside each axle.
Are you using magnets or lasers?
Oh, lasers. You got
Yancy, I got to keep you on your toes. You're such a fucking lunatic.
Magnets. I haven't taken the Phillips screwdriver and broken it down, but there's some really cool magnetic technology. We'll check in with the Elon. I think Elon Musk had something to do with it. We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
I'm just trying to ask questions I think my audience might ask.
Oh, for sure.
How about this question, sir?
Yeah.
When I look at high rocks and I'm like 10K of running, that's such a jump, right? For the CrossFitter perspective. We, DekaFit, say we, OCR people, we got 5K, and even that's a lot. I feel like, what about a 1.5 mile version? That seems to me like something that someone would want to start. Why not slightly less running?
We went with 5K, 500 meters times 10. I'll back up just a second. High Rocks is actually 8K.
I'm sorry. Right. They're 8K and 5 miles. We've got
Yeah,
3 miles. What if we did 2,500 meters, 1.5 miles as like just curious how you guys landed on that, where you guys landed on the running part.
Yeah, there was definitely some method to the madness across the globe. In the running world, if it's road or trail, the entry level
is 5K.
99% of people, they relate to 5K as kind of the entry level of all the participatory running events you can sign up for. For the most part, 5K is the one everybody goes with. So that's a lap and a half of 500 meters, a 333 meter course, a lap and a half equals exactly 500 meters. So we have I put a lot of time, and we kicked it back and forth with a lot of, I had a lot of great talks with the Mike Morris of the world and whatnot. And, it gives you, you're not able to have some nice size Deka zones without having a really massively large loop around. I mean, 333 meters is pretty big, but most convention center space floors, and we're going to be able to do this in some really cool spaces that are still urban, convention centers, warehouses. I mean, even think, like, I would love to do one in that, like an airplane hangar one time. But also what's really cool is you and I could take this to a local high school and do a really cool exhibition. We map out 333 meters, take 1, 2, or 3 pieces of each piece of equipment, and now you have a DekaFit setup that could accommodate, you could release 3 or 4 people at a time every 3 minutes. And in the course of 3 hours, 4 hours, we could pump 300 or 400 people through a DekaFit workout. So you're able to invite the CrossFit boxes, the gym owners out, bring teams of 20, 30, and the high schools, whatever, the colleges can come out, and police, fire, EMS, the military. And we can do some really cool kind of sub-level DekaFit exhibition races on top of the scheduled races across the urban areas across the country and the globe.
All right. So they've said 10 for starters. Can you talk about, I know it might not be in stone yet, but can we guesstimate stuff people are interested in, like on prize money, and is there a championship and that kind of fun stuff?
Definitely going to be prize money. I can't speak on championships this year, 2020, but we're going to have elite and we'll have open. We'll have the standard 10 age group categories that Spartan has, starting with 14, 17, 18, 24, and then 5 years and up after that. We want to have 3 team categories. Let's say you bring a team of 20. Your top five, sorry, I got dogs going crazy. Your top 5 scores. So we'll accumulate it will equal your team score. And we'll have a male team, female team, and a minimum of 2 of your top 5 scores will need to be a female mark.
Could I go literally from the couch? Like, I've never touched a ski erg in my life. I'm a relatively fit human, but I've never touched a ski erg in my life. If I showed up, would I be able to figure it out pretty quick?
Yes. That's, if you've never touched before, you walk up to it, you're going to be able to, you just kind of start pulling. And even though over the course of your 500 meters, by the time you finish, you will have the brain is smart enough to kind of teach yourself how to be more efficient at pulling. So it creates that overhead. You can tell I got myself in a nice, quiet environment in prep for this podcast. It's an overhead movement where you're pulling down. So think, it's muscle groups when we climb up mountains, when we climb over things. You're working the back, the lat muscles, the bicep, back and bis, and you naturally go into a squat when you do a ski erg, so it works the lower body as well.
All right, well, listen, I know you're about to head up for holiday time. Is there anything else you want to say before we let you go?
We can, if you want, we can work through all 10 zones super quick, or we can just say we're good. I know the maps are out there. We really want people to know that there was a lot of method to the madness. It wasn't just like taking 10 movements and throwing them out there. We really wanted, and you nailed it when you say, hey, I've never done this. If I walk into the DekaFit arena, can I do all this? In very short time, everybody walking the planet's going to get word that, you know what, man, I'm kind of fresh off the couch. I just jumped into this whole fitness world, And I was able to do everything with almost no instruction. Just a brief intro before I jumped in the starting corral. I was able to do everything. I had to walk half of my 500-meter runs times 10, and I was pretty slow on my stations, but I got through every single bit of it. And I can train for DekaFit in my living room, my backyard, my hotel gym, my brick and mortar gym. My F45 training is going to work great with that. My Orange Theory training is going to work great for that. You know what? I'm much better. I'm much more fit because of my CrossFit training. DekaFit gives me a great opportunity to be scored. And so we really want to empower all the gym owners. I don't care what kind of gym you own. You really don't have a great method of testing your people year round. You may have 1,000 members or 50 members. We're providing you with a great opportunity to have your members tested on a phenomenal functional fitness training arena. And everything you're doing with them for the most part is going to translate out on that course. And they can bring everybody in their family as long as they're 14 and up, and they can also get a mark. So it's going to give you a great opportunity to kind of help spur on the little fitness movement with those people in your life that need to get their ass moving.
All right, dude, I'm good. I don't think we need to go through every single workout because we're going to list them, and I've talked a little bit about them with, I had Joe on and whatnot. So, dude, I really appreciate you making it happen on short time.
Rock and roll, brother. As always, much love.
Happy holidays.
Take care, my friend. Bye.